Chapter 1. Communicating your coaching philosophy. This opening chapter will show you how to develop a coaching philosophy, how to set goals, and how to communicate that to your team. Cross-country season is typically during the fall months of August to October for schools in Illinois. However, if an athlete wants to develop, the season is year-round with a few breaks thrown here and there. Develop a philosophy. There's an old quote out there. It goes, "If you love what you do, it ain't working." That goes for your job, but especially coaching. Have you ever noticed that losing teams always look like they have no interest in being where they are? Cross-country is different when it comes to overall team records, as more of the focus can be on the individual's improvement. However, you need individual improvement so that the team can improve as well. That improvement will come when athletes are being pushed by a coach that wants to be there. As a coach, you have to love the job and the kids. Kids will follow the example that you lead. When you are developing your philosophy, be prepared for it to change. My first year coaching, my focus was more on the improvement of the times of the runners. We were a bunch of ragtag athletes who were not ready to compete. After my second year season, I preached winning conferences and making the sectional. By my third year, we thought we could win a few invites, and we did. You need to have rules. You are the boss of your team, but there is nothing wrong with formulating a rapport either. Be stern, but be caring. Push the kid to their max potential, but still care about what goes on in their life. The kid will only do so much based on their respect level for you, in my opinion. Developing rules. I keep my rules simple. I also keep them in broad terms to where they can umbrella other minor rules. Number 1. Show up to practice. You only get 3 unexcused absences. I believe in 3 strikes, you are out. Number 2. Show up on time. If the bus leaves at 7, you show up at 6:55. If you show up at 7:01, we have left. Number 3. You cheer for your family. This sport is hard, but it is easier when you have a family supporting you. When the girls race, the boys support the girls. When the boys race, the girls support the boys. It goes the same for practices. Number 4. Filtering. I've said a few bad words at practice. At practice, we talk about how we talk with our family and friends. I tell parents about the language so they are aware. However, when we are in public, we filter our language. That's a life skill for them to develop. Number 5. Team gear. Finally, we wear our team shirts to school before or on the day of a meet. We wear our sweats together. We are a team. We are in unison. Keeping the team communicating. In a team sport, you do not work alone. You must communicate your knowledge and approach to your team, coaches, and parents. You will never coach a team where you do not talk to someone through speaking or writing. When you develop a philosophy, you have planned the culture of your team. How can you communicate that to the team? The hope is that you are not alone. You will hopefully have assistant coaches. You will have your school administration. You will have parents, the community, and media. Communicating with athletes. The first and most important group of people that you want to be communicating are your team. When your team buys into your approach, the message will spread like wildfire. The team is a group of athletes. You will have to establish communication with your athletes. There are 2 things that I do at each practice so that each athlete feels valued. First, I have daily announcements before the kids warm up. I call out each kid's name so that they know that I know they're there. When the coach acknowledges who is there, it does not make the athlete feel like they are a ghost. Second, I make sure to have a conversation at least one time with each athlete at each practice. I want the athletes to know that I care if they are there. For larger teams, you can have each kid check out with you before they leave. That way you do not leave anyone out. I'm really big into nicknames. I feel that when you give nicknames, it creates a special bond. The nickname does not have to be super creative. It can be as simple as some of these. Vic, Victoria. Lou, Lucy. Aaron, Aaron, etc. In the end, it is your job to communicate with your athletes. You need to get them to buy into your message. Not just the captains either. Everyone on the team needs to feel valued. By making them feel important, they are more likely to buy what you are selling. Communicating with the team. Team meetings are necessary. I briefly mentioned that we have announcements before stretching in the last section. These meetings are used for telling athletes about upcoming meets, recognition of personal bests, eligibility and grades in the classroom, and the workout for the day. I never tell the kids what the workout will be until practice. If we have harder workouts, the athletes will come to practice with a sour attitude because it is harder. Plus, school comes first. They need to perform in the classroom so that they can run cross country. They do not need to be thinking about practice at that given moment. Private communication. There will be times that you will not be happy with members of your team. That could have something to do with their performance in a meet, practice, or attitude. There are other ways to address these issues. I'm different from other coaches. I will allow the athletes to have access to my cell phone. I suffer from depression, so I tell my athletes if there is ever a time to talk, they can text me or call me if needed. My door is always open if I am not there face to face. I use texting if athletes are down on themselves and need to talk. Most of the time, these conversations happen in the evening. I typically do not talk to athletes if it is very late in the evening, but I have had a few occurrences where sometimes they needed to just vent about something else going on in their lives. I do not text athletes every day. I let them come to me. Most of the time, an athlete and I will talk through texting twice during the season. However, this is not the case for everyone. If I have an issue with performance, I'd rather talk to my athletes face to face. Sometimes in texting, what you say can be taken the wrong way. Face to face, I know what I am saying and how I am saying it. The best way to talk in private is to address what you're upset about. Do not come off as attacking and never be demeaning. You are a coach. You criticize for improvement, but never to bring someone down. I always let the athlete voice their concerns and ask for their opinion. Communicating is a two-way street, so I care about what they have to say. A lot of coaches go the drill sergeant path. I find that unsuccessful. This is a sport, not boot camp. If they wanted to be in the military, they would have joined the military school. Using social media to promote. For the team, I created a Facebook group. At our parents' meeting, I invite all parents and athletes to the group. Over the years, alumni stay in the group, so our page has grown. I usually let the parents invite the other parents because it makes them feel involved. Plus, most of the parents know each other and I am not friends with them on social media. I also use an app called Remind. I have all parents give me their cell phone number so I can send updates or snapshots of the cross-country invites. This app will send one message to all numbers at the same time, so it saves a lot of time compared to communicating with each parent. I like to use both of these apps because some parents do not have Facebook, so they can receive updates through messaging. I really love the Facebook group because that is where I can post results immediately after the meet is over. Not all parents can make meets, but they still want to know how their child performed. By using social media, you are keeping everyone informed. When the parent knows how their child performs, they can give them praise when they get home. Plus, I post personal bests. For the parents who are very involved, they will congratulate other members on the team who are not their kids. That makes the athletes feel special and it builds self-confidence. Keeping assistant coaches involved. My first year coaching, I had no assistant. I also had to practice at 2 different schools. I would practice at one school, while the athletes at the other school would practice on the honor code. It was not ideal because I was doing everything on my own. The last 2 years, I've had an assistant coach. It has been a godsend having her around. She takes care of a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff. Plus, some of the athletes connect with her better than me. That does not bother me at all. I'm just glad our athletes feel connected by someone. Your assistant coach needs to have a role. I communicate with my assistant coach daily during the season. I send her practice plans during the day so that she knows what is happening. I also tell her what each of us will be doing. For days that we have recovery runs, it is a little bit more chill. However, when we have speed workouts, it is nice having multiple timers so we can have multiple groups go. Your assistant coach is there to help the athletes progress as runners. They are also there to give you feedback. I always tell my assistant coach to give me input. I'm an emotional coach and sometimes I react. She is calm and will tell me how I should go about a problem sometimes, which I appreciate. You as the head coach have the final say, but sometimes it is nice having another perspective.